Hey, this is Rick Brandenburg for Turf Bugs and Rock and Roll. And for those of you that watch these videos on a frequent basis, you know that one of the things I talk about all the time is the weather. I'm sort of like an old farmer. And the reason I talk about the weather a lot is that weather really does impact pest populations, including in turf grass. And for those of you who've watched this winter, you realize that I talked a lot about how here in North Carolina in December, January, and February, we just had incredible amounts of rainfall during the winter. Each of those 3 months, December, January, and February, we had somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 to 8 inches of rain each and every month. And here we are when we're filming this, it's the middle of April, and at my house we've had 1/4 of an inch of rain in the last month. So we went from just so much rain, we were about ready to float away, to it being very dry at a time when things have warmed up and you know, things are trying to flower and grow and everything, and we've really gotten dry. So what does that mean? Well, I don't really know for sure. I'm not going to speculate too much, but I do know in March when the ground was really saturated from all the winter rains, I saw a lot of fire ant activity and I saw a lot of adult mole cricket activity, for example. And, you know, even though it was cooler back in March than it is in April, I saw a lot more activity then than I do in the middle of April, even though it's warmer, and that's simply because the soil's dried out and fire ants are not going to be as active and mole crickets are not going to come near the surface. So what does that really mean for you when we see these wide fluctuations, whether it goes from really wet to really dry or even really dry to really wet? Well, from a pest perspective, whether it be weeds, diseases, or insects, that can have a dramatic impact. It could cause unusual pest timing. It could cause unusual pest populations. It could cause unusual levels of control. And it could even cause an unusual pest problem to occur when we see, you know, feast or famine, when it goes from really wet to really dry, or really dry to really wet, or from really cold to really warm. Whenever we get these major shifts, dramatic shifts in weather, I can't always predict, nor can anyone else, what that's really going to mean from a pest perspective. But what it does mean is we need to be a little extra alert that things could not be normal as we typically see with certain pest problems. So just take an understanding that in many areas we had a really wet winter and then it's dried off in the spring, that could adjust or change some of our pest problems as we go into the rest of the spring and early summer. So just be alert, take a little extra time to look around, and you'll be in good shape. Hope that helps. Look forward to talking with you again soon.